Tell me about the opiates. I actually had a nice struggle with opiates and yeah, an overdose in 2001 that I just started talking about a couple of years ago. And they're a funny drug, you know, because they kind of you don't know what's happening to you when you go down that road, and it's very hard to make clear decisions. That's what I found, and I don't know what you found, but it's you know, when I tell people I got off this stuff, it's quite an unlikely scenario to get off them, and I'm just wondering how that happened to you, and even advice you give to other people.
So, to a degree, I feel like I got lucky because I have a genetic blood abnormality that processes those type of narcotics slightly differently. So when they gave me morphine in the hospital when I got shot, I had never had morphine before. And I talk about stereotypes from movies. I thought they were going to stick a syringe in my leg and I was going to be sitting there drooling on myself. And the first time they gave me a bolus of morphine, I remember kind of just sitting there like, hey, when does the party start? Because my leg hurts still. And then they gave me more, and then they gave me more, and then they gave me more. And then they pulled out a spreadsheet that had weight and the amount of morphine that I had. And if they exceeded that point, basically my heart was going to stop. I was going to have a central nervous system suppression, but it really wasn't having an incredible effect on my body. And then talking with my sister, she was the first one who determined that we had an abnormality when it came to processing those type of drugs. And others, actually. They were trying to put her out when they were taking her wisdom teeth, and they gave her the classic count backwards from 100. Most people make it to 97 and then they pass out. And my sister's sitting there 15, 14, 13. She's making it all the way. And they get to a point where they can't even put her out. So we have an abnormality that processes those types of drugs differently. So for me, Percocet and Vicodin, it doesn't do very much for me. I didn't get a lot of pain relief from it. I think I was getting more of the pain relief from the alcohol. So I didn't get addicted to opiates per se. I got into a really bad habit of combining opiates and alcohol. And for me, it was more the alcohol that was providing the relief. I just happened to have readily accessible in front of me, you know, as many Percocet as I wanted, as many Vicodin as I wanted, as many oxycodone as I wanted. And eventually I ended up throwing them away, and it had no impact on me. So I got very lucky in that respect. So I'm probably not the best to talk about that particular type of addiction.
Right. And then you decided to get in the gym and start sweating it out.
Yep.
It's funny. I've talked to both Jocko and Tim Kennedy, and you know, Jocko said, get a mission. That's what he said. When you get back, get a new mission. That's his advice to people that struggle with going down destructive routes. And Kennedy said, train, eat good foods, stop drinking, and stop telling yourself you have a problem. That's Tim's advice that he gave me last week, I think. So I don't know. Those were their thoughts as far as to how to kind of move through a lot of that stuff.
I mean, I'd combine the two. Again, I'm not a fan of broad prescriptions, because the more broader your prescription, the more inaccurate it's going to be for a lot of people. You know, telling people to find a new purpose, yeah, that sounds great. That's a good soundbite, but that's not easy. You know, that takes a lot of soul searching. It takes a lot of looking inward and determining why you want to do the things that you want to do. What is it that intrinsically motivates you? Tim's advice to train, yes, that's awesome. And like I said, for me, physical health and mental health they're tied. I have to have both. But if you can combine training with a new mission or a new purpose, it's going to help you in those days where you have less motivation. So I think you should combine the two. And just saying, hey, you know, stop telling yourself that you have a problem. I don't know if that's a complete solution either, because some people do have problems. I think the more valuable lesson that could be learned, or the more valuable conversation you could have with yourself, is, hey, you know what? I'm not doing well. I actually think I do have a problem. So instead of telling myself that I don't, what I'm going to do is dive headlong into finding some help and support. And I'm going to be vocal about this, and then try to find as many people as possible who are struggling with the same things and try to help them as well.